The software and software development is an ever-evolving state nowadays. The time to market, quick development process, the need to publish your work before anyone else has become very important. Therefore, the testing must keep up with the development methodology's evolution. We have switched from the waterfall to Agile, and the testing needs to also to switch from the waterfall to Agile. Therefore, we have to think very carefully about the context. The context changes are quite often. We can have a context change every week. Therefore, the testing must be able to change its context, its methodology, and its techniques from one week to another. The testing and testers that do not evolve with the rest of the team will eventually disappear. This means that we are seeing in the past few years so many titles called "the testing is dead," "the test is dead," especially coming from some of the big companies in the software development. What I mean is that, well, maybe the testing as we knew it, the testers that spend lots of hours designing tests, that spend lots of hours planning, and that spend lots of hours maybe automating or performing those scripted tests, that kind of testing, yes. We do agree, that kind of testing could be dead. The test must evolve, and to evolve, it needs to kill the old testing. So if we want to continue in the nowadays market, we have to be prepared for the constant change, as we mentioned it. And testing is not becoming only the tester's responsibility. Before, it was all in the hands of the tester. Nowadays, we have so many teams, maybe around 80 or 85% of the teams in Spain currently are doing unit testing, TDD, BDD. So we can see that testing is not only the tester's responsibility. So we have to be prepared to switch to new roles, to perform new tasks that maybe we didn't do before. So let's see what is the value of testing in Agile. We already know what is testing about, why we need to test, and what's the value of testing in overall project context. But in the Agile teams, if developers do their white box testing, their unit box testing, if the whole team decides about the requirements, then what's the role of the tester? Maybe the tester is not needed. In many Agile teams, indeed, there is no role of a tester, especially if there are multidisciplinary teams, but the testing is present there. We can help as testers, we can help in different information objectives. Some of those could be requirements review or requirements testing, or intense automation activities. We do want to automate, we do want to have the executable acceptance criteria, so we can get involved in that part. We can support the developers. Developers do some testing, white box, we can help them with the test design, we can help them implementing automation, we can help them thinking about testing. And the most essentially, we can act as a proxy between the technology-facing activities and the business-facing activities. Now these technology-facing activities and business-facing activities, does this ring a bell? Yes, we are talking about the quadrants of Agile testing. We spoke about those in the last course, and now we will focus on the quadrants proposed by Bolton and Back. We are talking here about the rapid software testing, Agile testing ecosystem. So in this quadrant, we will take a look at it as a reference to all the activities the testers can do in different phases. Well, maybe we should not say phases, in different parts of the project. So like we said, when we build something thinking about the change, because Agile is all about change, when we study what we build, because we don't want to study to get some information, that's what testing is all about, and while we discover something worth building based on the information we got from the testing and from the other testing activities, and then we build some of it. But we build it with change in mind, we study, we discover, we build again, we build with change in mind, etc. So this is like a circular reference in this quadrant, and you can see that each part of the quadrant describes different testing activities that are part of the building process, that are part of the studying process of what we build, that are part of the discovery. And we have some certain objectives. What we want to do, we want to foster testability, for example. We want to experiment with imagination. We want to be suspicious while experimenting. That's why we study what we build with the objective to discover something else worth building. We do development design. We are discovering why we develop and design and while building part of it. And we build cleanly and simply because we want to change after what we build. So you can take this rapid software testing, agile testing ecosystem as a reference to see what activities we can do as testers. These are just some, there are quite few actually, but these are just some that the testers can do in agile teams. So as you can see, the testing in agile teams is not only about take a software, smash it until you find enough bugs and report them. No, there is quite a lot to do, and this is the value we as testers have to provide to the teams. Otherwise, our testing will have little to no value, and therefore someone will proclaim that the testing is dead, that we are not needed as testers, because we do not bring additional value to agile teams. So as you can see, there is a big shift in the activities performed by testers in agile teams, and we have to take care of this challenge. This is the activities challenge. We have to learn, we have to train, we have to work on that activities shift. And this shift is not often understood by the management. It's not only about us testers, it's about the management also. Therefore, we as testers, we have to, it is our obligation to bring the management attention and stand from ourselves. This means that when we are on a daily meetings, on a stand-up meetings, we have to stand for ourselves. We have to ask questions. We have to provide the value to the team. Otherwise, the management will not see the value, and we will be in a position in which we can lose our job. The next challenge we face is the time challenge. So, as we've seen, there are many activities to be performed, but also all of these activities need to be performed in a limited time schedule. There is lots of time pressure in the agile teams. My experiences when I switched to agile teams was that I never worked so hard as in an agile team. Sometimes the idea about the agile is that, oh well, yeah, we develop as we like, we do not estimate, there is not lots of pressure, etc. But it's all the contrary. There is lots of pressure, there is time pressure, there is activities pressure, there is management pressure, there is testing pressure. There's a lot of it. And you have to work really, really hard as a tester in an agile team to bring value to your team. So let's take a look at this time challenge and let's see what Elizabeth Hendrickson says about it. So in her book Explore It, she basically says that agile programs are more subject to unintended consequences of choices simply because choices happen so much faster. If you have a 1 week or 2 week iterations, then the testing needs to be compressed. The choices happen faster. This means that we can forget about certain things, some unintended changes can happen, and testing is there to take care of it. So the fast development asks for fast testing. And fast, we have to remember, it cannot be bad, it cannot be superficial. Otherwise, we will put in stake the product quality. So this is an additional pressure to testers, like we said, and we have to take care to point if we are not doing actual agile. If we are not able to perform our testing activities until the last days of the sprint, this is big obstacles in our testing activities. So we have to bring it to the management. We have to stand for ourselves and say, hey, we are unable to provide the value for your team. We are unable to help the team in their activities because this is not managed as it should be. Therefore, just as in activities challenge, we have the challenges testing as an intellectual activity. Here our challenge is to provide rapid but high quality testing. But not often this depends on the testers. Next challenge we face in the agile testing is the techniques challenge. So, due to time constraint, we are limited to number of tests we can perform. Therefore, we have to limit. We have to pick the tests we are going to perform and how are we going to perform. This means we have to know many different techniques we can apply in different contexts. Because simply there is not enough time to carefully plan, to carefully design our testing. We have to be, you remember, very quick, very fast, very rapid, but at the same time provide the high quality testing. So knowing many different test design techniques and how and when to apply them is essential for a good Agile tester. Otherwise, we will spend too much time, or we will pick wrong testing techniques, or we will not pick any testing technique and we will just do ad hoc testing as it comes, bringing little to no value to our team. So this means that we have to learn, or we have to practice different testing techniques. So this means that we have to spend some time studying and improving our craft as testers. And it is important to note that all of the classical test design techniques apply in Agile testing. It's not that now we are doing Agile testing, we don't do any of the classical test design techniques. No, all of them apply, but we have to pick them carefully and we have to be really fast and really good in applying these techniques.